Hello, Educate community. Welcome back. If it's your first time here, my name is Rebecca Simons, and this is the channel where we discuss all things ed tech. In this month's Make and Take, we're going to be learning how to take our email signatures from this to this. We'll be using Canva for our tutorial today, but you could easily achieve the same results in any other design platform or in Google Workspace by using slides or drawings. So let's jump over into Canva and get started. Anytime you design in Canva, you have two different paths you can take. You can start with a blank canvas, or you can use one of Canva's pre-created templates as a jumping off point. If I were looking for a template for this Make and Take, I would click in the search field and type email signature into the search bar. Even if I don't end up using a template for my project, I love to at least browse before I get started just to gain some inspiration. Now, don't forget, everything in a template is adjustable, from the colors to the font style. So I always try to focus on whether I like a certain layout or a certain design element. Canva is free to use, but some of the templates and elements required a paid or a pro account. And you can quickly tell whether something's free or not if you see a crown in the bottom right corner. On a related side note, if you are a K-12 teacher, you and your students can get free pro accounts by signing up for a Canva for Education account. If you haven't already, I highly encourage you to take advantage of this amazing opportunity. Okay, back to our tutorial. If you find a design you like, you're simply going to click on it, then say customize this template. For this Make and Take, we're actually going to start from a blank canvas so I can walk you through the entire design process from start to finish. I'm going to begin by clicking on Create Design, then click on Custom Size. Email signatures come in a range of sizes, but a common one I saw when I was researching was 600 pixels wide by 150 to 200 pixels tall. For our demo today, I'm going to be using the size 600 by 200 pixels. As you might have seen in the templates, email signatures frequently feature a picture of the sender. This could be anything from a professional headshot to a fun Bitmoji. Now, if you aren't comfortable with using an image of yourself, you could easily use something like your initials or your school's logo or mascot. If you're planning on using a Bitmoji, I would highly encourage you to download the Bitmoji Chrome extension. To add a Bitmoji, all you need to do is click on the extension, find a pose that you want to use, then right-click to copy and paste your image directly into Canva. Now, if you're thinking of using a picture of yourself, Canva has a fantastic feature called frames. Frames allows you to turn your image into a variety of styles and shapes, with everything from circles to having your image appear on a laptop screen. To use a frame, you're simply going to click on the Elements tab, then scroll down until you see frames. Once you see a frame that you like, simply click to add it to your canvas. The next step is to place an image in the frame. You can either upload a new image or use one that you've previously uploaded. Both of these actions will take place under Uploads. I'm simply going to use a photo that I already have in Canva, and I'm going to drag and drop it into the frame. As you can see, my image automatically took on the shape of the frame. You can adjust your image within the frame by double-clicking, then resizing and dragging until you're happy with how it looks. Now that you've got an image, let's shift our focus to the text elements you're going to include in your signature. You might think about adding some of the following: name, position, school or district, phone number, fax number, room number, or school address. To start, I'm going to press T on my keyboard to add a text box, or you could also add one by clicking Text, Add a text box. I really like to use a script font for my signature. I feel like it adds some personality and it reminds me of a physical signature. So whenever you click on your fonts, you'll be given a couple of different filters. Clicking on the handwriting filter is a quick way to get all of your scripty fonts. Now for today's demo, I'm going to be using the font Regular Brush. Next, I'm going to type my name. Then I'm going to click on text color and change the color of my name to reflect my institution's branding. Then I'm going to click on effects and add a drop shadow. Now, this is a personal preference, but I feel like a drop shadow helps my name to pop a little bit more. Then finally, I'm going to take and enlarge the size of my name for my signature. Now that it's a little bigger, you can see the drop shadow a little better. Next, I'm going to press the L key to add a line. You could also add a line by clicking on Elements, then typing line into the search bar. Now, this is purely for aesthetics, but I like how it separates my name from the rest of my contact information that I'm going to be adding. As a little tip, if you hold down the Shift key when you are extending your line, it'll make sure that it stays perfectly straight. Next, I'm going to customize my line by clicking on the line style icon, which is the second icon in the top menu. I'm going to select this end option, round the endpoint so it turns it into circles, and then decrease that line weight just a little bit. Once that's done, it's back to adding more text. Press T again to add another text box. And this time I'm going to change my font to Poppins. This is my go-to font anytime I'm adding a heading or a title. In this box, I'm going to type the name of my position. I want to justify my font alignment to the left, and as I'm looking at this, I think I actually want to put it in all caps, so I'm going to click this icon here to put it in all uppercase. Then I'm actually going to change my font style to Poppins Bold. Text styles within the same font family are a great feature that often goes unnoticed. It's a really subtle but effective way to create some visual variety while still using the same font. The next part of my signature is going to use the same font and font style, so I'm going to save myself a couple of clicks by duplicating the text box. To do this, I'm going to select my text box and press Control D. Now it's ready for me to enter my next piece of information. I'm going to enter my department name, which is actually quite long, so I'm probably going to have to decrease the font size. I'm going to duplicate the text again and add the name of my university. At this point, you may want to take a few minutes to do a little bit of fine tuning. For example, I know that I'm going to be adding more content to this, and I don't have a lot of space at the bottom, so I'm going to start shifting everything up. Then I also want to apply my color scheme to the text that I just added. Finally, I think I'd like these two lines better if they were mixed case. Then I'm going to add a little more space in between them. Okay, I'm happy with how that looks. So next, I'm going to add my phone number and my office location. I want to help these stand out a little bit more by adding some visual icons. To do this, I'm going to click on the Elements icon in the left-hand sidebar. Then I'm going to type phone icon into the search bar. To see more results, simply click See All for graphics. Once you find an icon you like, simply click to add it to your workspace. Now, most images that you add, you'll be able to change the color to match your theme by clicking on the colored square in the menu bar across the top. Then I'm going to resize by simply clicking and dragging on any of the circles in the four corners. Once I've added my icon, it's time to pair it with text. To do that, I'm going to press T on my keyboard to add another text box. And I'm going to be using the Poppins font again, but this time I want to use the font style regular. So I'm going to click on the font menu dropdown and select regular. I'm going to type in my phone number, left align my text, then I'm going to click to resize my font. Next, I'm going to click and drag until I see the dotted line appear down the middle of my icon. This tells me that my text is centered with my icon. Another way you could achieve this is by holding down Shift, clicking to select both elements, right-click, align elements, and we would want to select middle. I'm going to repeat this process for the location icon. Under Elements, I'm going to search Location Icon, click to add, recolor, resize, then I'm going to reposition. Next, I'm going to duplicate the text box with the phone number by clicking on it and pressing Control D. This means that the size and formatting are going to be identical. All I need to do is change the text. Again, I want to make sure that that dotted line is appearing, showing me that everything is in line. So I have one going vertically, showing that it's in line with my phone number, and one horizontally, showing that it's centered on my location icon. At this point, take a couple minutes to fine-tune your spacing, your font sizes, colors, get everything looking just the way you want it. And voila! Part 1 of your signature is done. Now you might be saying to yourself, wait a minute, did she call this part 1? Well, in email platforms like Gmail, you can only link a single URL to a single image. So if you want to add multiple interactive elements to your signature, like links to your social media or your classroom website, each of these would need to be a separate image file. Essentially, what we just completed is the part of your signature that's static and won't have anything linked to it. In just a few minutes, we'll come back to Canva and create individual clickable elements that can be added beneath this part of our signature. So to add part 1 of our signature to Gmail, first we're going to need to download it. Start by clicking on Share, Download. Then you can either select PNG or JPEG. Personally, I prefer to use PNG as I feel like the image quality is just a little better. While we're talking about image quality, quick heads up about Canva. Sometimes when you download images, they end up being a little blurry. And we could go into a long discussion about the why behind that, but I want to share a little trick I found. And that's to download your image at a larger size, then use Gmail's built-in resizing option so that your signature image stays crisp. So I'm going to double my download size to 1200 by 400 pixels. Then I'm going to click transparent background so that my signature will look clean and professional, even if someone is viewing my email on a screen in dark mode. Once you have your image downloaded, head over to Gmail. Once you're in Gmail, begin by clicking on the gear icon, then select See All Settings. Scroll all the way down until you see Signature. Click on the Create New button, and name your signature. Next, you're going to click on the Insert Image icon, and you're going to select the image you just downloaded. When your image initially comes in, it's going to be fairly large. So simply click on it, then use the resizing options, small, medium, or large, to find a size that works for you. I personally think the large setting looks best because you can easily see all the information in my signature. If you have multiple signatures, make sure to select which one you'd like to use by default for new emails and on reply or forwarded emails. Finally, the most important step is going to be to scroll all the way down to the bottom and select Save Changes. If you don't plan on adding any clickable links to your signature, then guess what? You're done. However, I would highly encourage you to think about adding some links that people frequently might need to access, like your grade level website, the lunch menu, your newsletter, etc. You can easily add these as plain text below your fancy new signature and hyperlink them. But if you're aiming for a more polished look, we're going to circle back around to Canva and design some buttons that can then be turned into clickable links. All right, now that we're back in Canva, I'm going to create a new blank canvas. Now, technically, you can make your buttons any shape that you want, but I'm going to stick with a rectangle that's the same width as my signature, or 600 pixels, by a height of 50 pixels. I'm going to keep these buttons pretty basic by simply changing the background color and adding text. I'm going to click on the colored square in the top menu, then select a color that matches the theme of my signature. Then I'm going to press T on my keyboard to add a text box. I'm going to change my font to Poppins, so it's the same style as my signature. I'm actually going to go with Poppins Bold. I'm going to increase the size here so we can see what we're doing. And finally, I'm going to change the color of my text. I want to create a button that allows people to easily sign up to join the Educate Community Google group. So I'm going to type my text in. Then I'm going to use the arrows in the corner to increase the size to where I'm happy with it. I might also think about adding some kind of a click icon so that people know that this is a clickable element. If I wanted to create multiple buttons, I would click on the duplicate page icon so that all I have to do is change the text. If I wanted each button to be a different color, maybe I want to do ombre, I could easily change that as well. Once I finish creating all my buttons, I'm going to download them as a PNG image like before. Then I'm going to head back over to Gmail and add them to my signature. Once you're back in your email settings, you should see a blinking cursor in front of your image. Press the right arrow key to move your cursor to the far right of your image, then press Enter. Next, you're going to click the Insert Image icon and bring in each of your buttons. Each one has to be brought in individually. As you bring them in, again, you're going to want to click on them and use the resizing options. At this point, your button is still just a picture. To turn it into a clickable link, you're going to highlight one image at a time, then click on the link icon. Copy and paste the web address you want viewers to be directed to when they click on the button and say OK. Once you're finished linking all of your buttons, don't forget to scroll down to the bottom and save your work. And that brings us to the end of our Make and Take. I am so glad that you decided to join the Educate community today. If you're interested in more tips and tutorials on all things EdTech, be sure to check out our channel. In the meantime, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you'll be notified each time we post new content. See you next time.